Hello and welcome all to Sportswire. This is another stream today on the Chelsea transfer news, of course. First of all, welcome everyone for the second consecutive day that we're streaming today. I think we've already got Daniel here. Big up, VJ. Hope you're good. Twitter was last midnight, such a waffle coming out. Yeah, I know about Raphinha. He didn't really look good, right? Again, yeah, we'll get into those specifics. Obviously, we'll have to talk about that. And we have this Upamecano, Upamecano, right? If I'm pronouncing his name right, Upamecano from Bayern Munich being offered to Chelsea. So we have news on that side of it. So we'll probably do a player analysis on Upamecano. And apart from that, we also have the Kunde situation and the Delic situation. Of course, we need to be discussing those as well. So we've got topics to discuss today, but let's probably open with what Daniel is talking about here, because that's one huge news here. Rafinha, see, we know that it was either Usman Dembele or Rafinha for Barcelona, right? They didn't want both of them, or they cannot afford both of them, is what was reported yesterday. And we saw to an extent the Usman Dembele situation being on the positive side, because we could see people, Mundo Deportivo, they were reporting Usman Dembele's new contract at Barcelona would be a 2-year deal with a 40% pay reduction. Yeah. So apparently, even Fabrizio Romano reported the same thing. He says that it's almost done and dusted. Um, Dembele deal. But what's weird here is now all of a sudden Bayern has found some money. Sorry, or Barcelona has found some money to get themselves Rafinha. That's the interesting point, because their luck never seems to be running away when it comes to this transfer window. They're interested in every player that is, in the market, and they want to get them all. And I don't think so. That's the good way to go about it. Someone has to actually take a look at their finances. I'm really not sure if La Liga's FFP is not as strict as FA's regulations or the UEFA regulations. I would probably say if they're playing in La Liga, they should be under the regulations of UEFA as well, because they're anyways appearing for a European competition, which is common across leagues. So whatever your own FA regulations or your own La Liga regulations might suggest or might state, there needs to be taken into account this particular UEFA regulations as well, because when it comes to a European trophy, of course, all of you guys come together and then play in a tournament. So I'm not sure, what should I be making out of Barcelona's finances, but we all know it's a mess. But we all expected a bigger mess than that, right? Daniel also says it's all waffle. Even today, it's come out. Rafinha has given Barca 48 hours, which I don't think so. Think is new. It's the same deadlines Leeds gave out. Yeah, but one thing that is new is that Rafinha apparently has given this deadline today, right? But Leeds had given that a couple of days before. So in essence, we are looking at 48 plus 48, 96 hours in terms of deadline alone, be it from the player, be it from the club. End of the day, it's still a deadline for them. They're looking at the Frankie De Jong situation as well, because Frankie De Jong situation, that's another weird thing, right? And the reason why I'm jumping into Frankie De Jong situation right now is because that is closely relevant or closely related to what we're talking about here, the Rafinha deal. We also see Simon Phillips, who all of a sudden has changed his stance, who was reporting that only one of these deal is possible, has already, changed his stance here. He says, if you can see my screen right now, despite claims last week that Barcelona would be able to afford both the players, it has been revealed that they have only one of Rafinha or, they can have only one of Rafinha or Usman Dembele. So, they're saying this, but apparently Barcelona doesn't seem to be worrying about anything. They basically want everyone in their team. Barca being able to sign both is waffle. If it is waffle, I'm fine with it. I'm really happy about it. It's not true news coming out from someone close to the club last night. They can sign. They can't sign both. All right. So Daniel says someone close to the club basically is saying, or I'd probably put this as Daniel's source is saying that that is not possible. Barcelona are not going to sign both Usman Dembele and Raphinha in the same window at least. Daniel also goes on to say that the news of him giving 48 hours um, comes out today, but I don't think so. It's new. I think it was the same news just related today to spice it all up. I mean, if that was true, then it makes sense, and I'm still happy with it. But 48 hours is something that should be over by end of today, right? Today, I guess it's 1 p.m. at the UK right now. So maybe 6 or 7 hours from now, we should be having either a deal put in for Rafinha or an offer placed in for Rafinha from Leeds. Sorry, two Leeds. Otherwise, this deal should be given to Chelsea because Chelsea has gone through the legal ways, right? We all know Chelsea has gone through this particular deal in the legal way. Couple of months before itself, Rafinha's agent, former Chelsea player, of course, Deco, who has agreed uh, to sell Rafinha to Chelsea, apparently is no more interested in this Chelsea deal because they found a new buyer in Barcelona, right? I'm not sure how far, and we have also submitted a legal bid, which is being accepted by Leeds as well, apparently, and only the player's personal terms is not agreed, which means the player at some point can refuse it, but the club has agreed to it. So now the situation for Barcelona is that since Leeds have agreed to Chelsea's deal on that particular cash amount, they cannot sell to Barcelona for anything lesser than that. Yeah, that's their problem. So Barcelona has to either match the deal or go above and beyond the deal. And that's where their problem is. They're not able to collate that money to make this Rafinha deal possible. But tell me one thing, is that really not possible at all? Is that really impossible? Let's look at it from a finance standpoint, right? Um, so I want to go get Rafinha. I want to go get Dembele. Let's say I'm Barcelona. I want to get both of them. What I would, in essence, do is try to pay an amortized value for Rafinha of 20 million per se, and try to pay the wage bill for Usman Dembele. That's pretty much it, right? Yeah, so 20 million is my amortized value, say, this year, and then I go for a period of 3 years, or if his deal is for 5 years, then I amortize even more for a better rate, maybe for 15 million a year. And then I go this, I do this for another 5 years, and my Rafinha situation is done. Yeah, I'm sorted with my Rafinha situation. At the same time, I'm also sorted with my Usman Dembele situation as well. So it's not something that is impossible, is what I'm trying to say. Even if we put it as something that is impossible. Daniel also says the deadline has passed. Has passed. Barca's verbal proposal still is not high enough. News is delayed like always. Yeah, that's the problem. News is delayed as always, and we don't like delayed news, do we? Yeah. I'm even seeing news that now Lewandowski wants either Barcelona or Chelsea. That definitely is a news, but it's been the same, right? Lewandowski to Chelsea is something that might or might not happen. Barcelona, he's obviously interested. Let me tell you one thing. I don't get. I don't really get. I tweeted this also today in the morning. I don't get why players would want to go to a club like Barcelona given their current financial mess. Yeah, they might even get into administration in a couple of years if they're not doing their business rightly. Yeah. Whereas Chelsea has got a new owner and a better track record in terms of Champions League currently. So why would you want to go to a club like Barcelona just because for their history? If history is what you're really concerned about, then you guys should be going to Manchester United because that's got a good history as well. So if you're able to reject Manchester United because you're able to, differentiate between the history of the club and the current status of the club, why are you not able to do the same for Barcelona as well? It's always a surprise to me. I would never understand that. Daniel says it comes out this morning. Barca would want to pay the first installment next year. Leeds won't take that. They don't know if Barca will exist then. Wow. See, that's a huge problem, right? I mean, if you know that the selling club is this unstable, would you really want to risk it on them? Yeah, you wouldn't want to, right? And I would expect Rafinha also to understand this. This is a simple math. This is a simple logic. It's not even a math, it's logic, right? If Leeds can understand that, why can't Rafinha understand that? Weird. Totally weird. Daniel Crane also says true Paris Saint Germain are expected to get into the poker for this one. I read, yeah, for Lewandowski. Apparently, PSG are also interested if the negotiations between Barcelona and Bayern would fail, just like Chelsea. Lewandowski would prefer a transfer. Basically, he wants to get transferred. He doesn't mind any club at this point in time, similar to that of a Ronaldo situation. But the problem is, Lewandowski. The only difference between a Lewandowski and a Ronaldo situation would be Lewandowski is not on that higher of that of a wages, and his wage demand is not crazy enough as that of Ronaldo, right? So for this, when you take Ronaldo, there are not a lot of suitors, yeah, given his wage demand. And even if he takes a pay cut, it's still a very high wage. And no player, I mean, no club are interested in Ronaldo given his age factor as well, and they aren't sure how he would depreciate. Yeah, Lewandowski, you could argue he is aged as well, but he's not as old as that of Ronaldo, right? I think Lewandowski is 34 and Ronaldo is 37. So these things are something that can play as an advantage for Lewandowski. He's got more suitors than Ronaldo at this point in time, but it's going to be similar to this situation, right? Rafinha Dembele situation. If Barca are interested in both of them and they manage to get one, the other one will be left out without a club. And the same apparently will probably go for Ronaldo and Lewandowski because both of them desperately want to leave their own club. Daniel says to Barca or Chelsea instead of staying at Bayern, Chelsea FC, PSG inside. Okay, that's a good source. Um, okay, slowly. Yeah, Daniel also has another message. He says, "My only thing on Lewandowski is would he be able to cope up in the Prem, whereas CR7 is Prem proven." That's a brilliant point. I mean, if you ask me personally, would would I prefer um, someone like, sorry, I was presenting my screen. Is it? I didn't know that. All right. Would I prefer Lewandowski or Ronaldo? I'd obviously go for Ronaldo, given his track record and given his prem experience, like how Daniel mentions, and Robert Lewandowski being the player he is, we know what he is capable of. But is he someone who can do the same at prem? I'm not really sure about it. Okay, just give me a second, just a second. Oh, really sorry about that, guys. I just got a call and was expecting a call. Apparently, that's not the call that I was expecting. Um, all right. We'll slowly digress from this, Rafinha situation. I know this is going to be the same way for a few more days, um, the Rafinha situation. But at least till the deadline. But there is something else as well, an important news. Maybe you guys would love to see that Chelsea preseason team is out. Yeah, at least the players who've traveled for the preseason for the first couple of months, sorry, couple of matches, it's out. This is not of course for the Arsenal game. This is just for the Club America game. I think that's the first game, and then there's another game. So both of those games, this is the squad that we're gonna go with. USA Tour squad list. Goalkeeper Edward Mendy, Kepa, Bettinelli, uh, TSL. I don't know who's TSL. If you guys know who's TSL, just put it on the comment window. Um, and the defenders, Marcus Alonso, who apparently is still with the club. Ampadu, Ethan Ampadu, that's a good shout. Aspilicueta, I think he's waiting for the Barcelona deal. I mean, Barcelona to get him signed. Theoretically, all of it is over, but I think there is some practical problems in signing someone like Aspilicueta into the team, given that they'll not be able to register him or something. right? So that's Aspilicueta. Chalaba, um, yeah, that's true. If Sterling, so Sterling basically is almost done, right? Right, like theoretically it's done. The only thing that yesterday Daniel was mentioning this as well. I remember him saying that, and apparently that's the direction that we're probably trying to take. Chelsea are going to sign both Sterling and Ake together. That's what they're actually looking at. So Sterling, though virtually it's done, they'll probably hold themselves from announcing it and announce it with along with Nathan Ake. I think the Nathan Ake deal is still in progress, and they're finding some middle ground with Manchester City. Um, but post that deal is completed, between an agreement is reached between the both the clubs, Manchester City and Chelsea. I think both the players will be announced together. Um, and if that happens, it's fine. But I'm not sure when that'll happen. So I don't want Sterling to keep missing matches just because he wants to be announced along with Nathan Ake, right? I think announcing Sterling is vital. Just announce him whenever you sign him. Don't wait for the next transfer as well to happen, so that you can announce both the players together. Come on, this is not a group photo segment. Just announce players individually. That'll work for us. Yeah, we as Chelsea fans are waiting to see at least one transfer happen in this window. We are a club right now without even a single transfer completed. Yeah, um, and I'm a bit pissed off about it. Aspilicueta and then Chalaba, going back to the um, you know US tour team. Chalaba's in, so I'm really intrigued to see how Chalaba is going to be performing in the preseason as well as inside the season. Because if he's getting an opportunity in the season, I think Chalaba will probably grow better and more matured, and probably can become someone like a Reece James. I'm not putting him on the equal levels of Reece James right now, but giving him that time in that squad could well, be a steep learning curve for him. Is he up for the challenge? We'll have to wait and see. So that's Chalaba. Colville, of course. Another talent which we are all interested to witness in Chelsea squad, and how he's going to be combining in the defensive line. I'm really confident about Tuchel's defensive, coaching. So this is going to be an interesting one. Colwell. Reece James, of course, is traveling with the team. Malang Sarr, Kennedy, Kennedy, Mr. Kennedy is traveling with the team. Emerson is returning back, so apparently they didn't want a permanent deal. Lille, so he is back in the squad, and he will be playing in the preseason game. Silva, Thiago Silva, our own, the Royal defender for Chelsea Football Club. Silva is playing, Thiago Silva. So and then we go for the midfielder, and look at how we've started our midfielder. Ross Barkley. Ross Barkley is not even on a weekly wage structure. He's basically on a yearly structure. Basically, we pay him 5 million a year, right? We don't pay him on a weekly basis. That's a different contract that is being signed with Ross Barkley. But yeah, that's Ross Barkley to start with. Conor Gallagher, I've seen some of the training videos in the United States. Apparently, he's been practicing near the beaches and all that. So some cool photos and pictures, some videos as well on Gallagher practicing. He looks match ready. He looks match fit. Hopefully, he gets to play in the preseason. Nothing happens before that. Any injuries or anything. It can be deteriorating. Hopefully, he gets to play in that preseason games, and Tuchel finds the right way to utilize him during the preseason. That's going to be a very important factor. Billy Gilmore apparently returns as well. Returns from Norwich after not having a great season. He had to return mid-season due to an injury as well. So Billy Gilmore will be eager to impress the gaffer. Jorginho is in the squad. Kovacic, Mason Mount, and Harvey Vale as well is in the squad. It's very interesting that Harvey Vale has not picked up any interest in this particular window. I was expecting him to be picking up those sort of interest, because he was playing, sporadically, in our squad, up and down. At times, he was given opportunities in the Chelsea main team. So I expected him to be attracting some attention. Apparently, that is not happening. And then we have the attackers: Mishi Batshuayi, Kai Havertz, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Pulisic, Werner, Ziyech, and Giroud. Of course, we'll have to talk a few words on Ziyech's situation, but then we'll start with the first one and the obvious one, Michi Batshuayi. He's not going anywhere, guys. He is not going anywhere. So we've got Michi Batshuayi, who's going to be part of the preseason friendly. I'm pretty sure he's going to score a couple of season attract and attention. A couple of goals this particular preseason, and then will be attracting attention from clubs from different leagues and will be going out on a loan. And then there is Kai Havertz, our false nine, a predominant striker at this point in time. Callum Hudson-Odoi is back, guys. Callum Hudson-Odoi is back with a new look, of course. He's shaven off his hair, so he looks match ready, match fit, and he seems to be eager to perform. We all know he was one of the players who came into the preseason training, at the start. Yeah, he was there before any players, returned back. So he is eager to impress the gaffer. Maybe it is to impress the gaffer, or maybe to attract attention from other clubs. We never know. But Callum Hudson-Odoi is fit enough to play in this game. Christian Pulisic as well is here. Yeah, I have to drink some water. Christian Pulisic, when you're traveling to the US, having the US captain in your team doesn't hurt you, does it? Yeah. So Christian Pulisic is going to be playing in his home turf these 3 games. Let's see how he plays there and how he impresses the boss on his return game for Chelsea Football Club. The first Premier League game will be starting on 5th of August, and let's be ready for that. And then we've got this person, Timo Werner, in the squad as well. Apparently, he has not been, generating interest as well. This is someone that I was expecting to be going out in the window as the first choice. Like, when I say first choice, maybe the first player to move out of the club. I expected Timo Werner because he will be attracting attention from multiple clubs, is what I thought. But Timo Werner's situation remains very quiet as opposed to what I expected. He is already on 272K a week, which is obviously not good for a club like Chelsea to have him on such high wages. And then Ziyech and Anjurin. Before going to the Ziyech topic, of course, Anjurin. Tino Anjurin, he is returning back. Not sure how he is going to be performing. Maybe he attracts a loan deal, so that could happen. Some of the important players who are missing out here is that Chilwell has traveled, so we don't know if he's playing or not. Webster, Lewis Hall, Maatsen, and Dujon Sterling was not selected by Thomas Tuchel. Guys, Charlie Webster is not selected. Louis Hall is not selected. Ian Maatsen is not selected. But Maatsen was in the training. We saw him in the training. And Dujon Sterling, who was also in the training, they are not being selected for the squad. Daniel also says it is difficult for us to not announce players together because Boli is out doing all the work. Yeah. He is apparently the owner of the football club, and he is apparently the owner or the director of football as well. Pretty weird to have both the roles on his plate. A bit in excess for someone who's not had any experience with football transfers, with the English football transfers. Should I put it that way, right? Chilwell has traveled, so not sure he's going to be playing or not. Broja will join the squad the next week. The reason why he is going to be joining the squad next week is because he has apparently attracted attention or interest from West Ham United and Everton. So there are a couple of teams that are interested. Apparently, Napoli as well are looking for a striker replacement, and Broja seems to be fitting the bill. So we might have some attention from the Italian league as well for Armando Broja. But are we ready to sell him yet? If we sell him, is that the right move for Chelsea Football Club? If you ask my personal opinion, I'd probably say, no, don't do that. Yeah, please don't sell Broja. He's a good player. He's got huge potential, and we don't have a proper number nine in our team right now. So selling your early number nine, a traditional number nine, is opposed to what you should be doing. So don't do that. Yeah. And Kante has not traveled. RLC as well has not traveled. Both of them have not traveled because of their COVID vaccination status. We'll not get too much into it because it's the player's personal preference. But apparently, from this, what we get to know is that I don't think so. These guys are actually vaccinated enough to travel to the US. So that's what we have here. So that's the news on the US Academy players, guys. Daniel also says no need. No need. Okay, no, we need to keep him. I think this is on Broja because he's a good young talent. Whilst we even bought a striker. Yeah, I mean we haven't brought a striker, so why to even let him go? Yeah, that's true. So that's a good point that you're making there. So that's one of the news there. And then we look into Hakim Ziyech. Yeah, I thought we'll have to talk about Hakim Ziyech as well. Ziyech apparently has fired his agent, his regular agent, recently, a couple of days back, and he's going to be handling the transfer talks on his own, or at least what is expected in terms of transfer talks. So all the new deals and signings for that is relevant to Hakim Ziyech, all the interest will be registered with the player directly. That is something that he has informed through an Instagram post. Yeah, that was different of him to post it on Instagram, but yeah, what it is. Anyways, it conveys the message. So Hakim Ziyech, from this, what I can make out is that maybe he was looking at a transfer move and that was not happening because the agent was not acting properly on the move or acting quick enough on the move. So he's sacked the agent and he's going to take matters into his own hands and try and get the move done elsewhere. Right. Otherwise, there was no reason for him to fire his agent if he was not going to get transferred anyway. So I think there is definitely a Hakim Ziyech, movement from outside the Chelsea Football Club. I'd be sad to see him go because I know his potential, but it is what it is. He's not been the preferred choice for Thomas Tuchel's system most times, and he's been struggling in the system. And he looks, all in all, an unhappy player as well. Daniel Crane also says the only thing is if the club is willing to sell him, it could mean a replacement may have been found. Okay, you're talking about, I believe, Broja here. I highly doubt it. Yeah, I highly doubt that. He copied what his friend Lukaku done, as he done exactly the same thing. Yeah, I think this was on Ziyech. Lukaku as well fired his agent and then got his deal done on his own. Maybe, yeah, that's a good correlation that you were able to make there, Daniel. Appreciate your thoughts on that. But yeah, like Daniel mentions, he's following the Lukaku route. Ousmane Dembele talks, I think we've spoken about it. And Brocha will be traveling next week. Okay, so this week is not basically traveling. Maybe next week is what these guys are saying. Not maybe. He will be traveling next week or could join up the squad next week is what is being mentioned by Jacob Steinberg. But the problem here is if he signs for a team, he's not going to go travel to the US for a preseason. He's obviously going to the West Ham team, who's already started playing their preseason friendly yesterday. There was a match between West Ham and a German team. So West Ham had already started their preseason friendly. So if at all Broja is getting signed for West Ham, then they'd be looking to integrate him as quick as possible. David Moyes and the group will be looking to integrate Broja into the West Ham setup as quick as possible. And probably the same applies for Everton as well, right? So any team that is probably going to sign Amanda Broja, even if it is Napoli, they're going to look at integrating the player quickly into the squad. So if he is getting signed for any of these clubs, then he definitely is not going to the US for the preseason friendly. At least not with Chelsea. Good news is that Levy Colwell is on the plane, so that's something that everyone was expecting, and good that Thomas Tuchel did not give us any surprise on that point. It's just a repeat of what was said yesterday from Fabrizio Romano on the Nathan Ake situation and Sterling deal. He says that I'm going to share my screen and show you guys. Chelsea are closing on Raheem Sterling deal with Manchester United, waiting for the final approval on 45 million fee plus add-ons. So I think there is still an approval pending. It's not everything done. So there is one, at least some of the final items that are pending, while negotiations are still ongoing with City for Nathan Ake. So this particular negotiations is not over. That is yet to happen. Not yet to happen. That's still in progress. Ake keen on the move. Personal terms are agreed 100%. Personal terms 100% agreed as reported yesterday. So it's pretty much the same news, guys. It's pretty much the same news here. Nathan Ake's personal terms have been agreed. We managed to get the personal terms agreed with the player. All right, that's one. What else news do we have here for the transfer roundup? Since we've not been doing any business, it looks very slow, guys. It looks very slow, the market, the transfer window itself. But there's been tremendous, flow of players moving in and out of the Premier League. We could see that, but none of them are for Chelsea. That's the saddest part. And this is an interesting tweet, so I wanted to show you guys and share the information with you. It's an exclusive. He says, Fabrizio Romano is exclusive. He says, Olympic Marseille. Let me put it this way, Marseille. Yeah, Marseille have an opening bid ready to sign Jonathan Klaus from Lens. I think we were also interested at some point for Lens. For Jonathan Klaus. Talks now ongoing to reach an agreement. So that's there. But why is this important? That's because, again, Mertens from Belgium and Dybala are not in the list for Olympique Marseille this summer as things stand. Now, I read yesterday that Dybala is probably going to be offered for $6 million, just 6 million euros. Yeah, not dollars, 6 million euros. So if it's just 6 million euros, why not try Dybala instead of your Raphinhas and everyone? I mean, Dybala as well is a quality, a player, and having him for a less risk of a fee for 6 million wouldn't hurt us, is what I'd say. Daniel comments saying that OMG, Ake, 50 million really, he won't be even a starter. We will be overpaying for a bench player. Obviously, Chelsea would probably be the first player to pay. First team to pay a player 50 million to just have him on the bench. But what to say that we did the same thing with Lukaku. So we had a 100 million player on the bench the last season. So we're learning from our mistakes. Now we have 50 million player on the bench. Crazy with Chelsea and the transfer window. But Dybala, I think if it's true as what they say, 6 million for him, I think it's a steal. No, Dybala can stay away. He won't suit the Prem. He would be a flop. Even if he's a flop, you're not actually risking so much of money. You're just putting in 6 million for that player. And why not have a try? I mean, it's not like you're trying this. If it is 50 million, like an Ake situation, then obviously not Prem proven, you would doubt investing on that sort of a player. Anything below 10 million for a quality player on the Italian league for so long time. He's done it for years now. 27 years old. He's done it for a long stint in the Italian league. Why not give him a try? That's my question. Less than 6 million, I think. That would make sense. Yeah, he says 6 million, yes, but he does not make us any better. Trust me, he makes us. He would. Yeah, I'm gonna put it this way, right? He would make us a lot better, considering how we performed the previous year. Yeah, the Chelsea attackers. So that's what I would probably say regarding this Dybala situation. So Guys, that's pretty much what we have on the transfer roundup for today. I think we wanted to talk about the Upamecano deal, so we'll progress to that. That's the final topic that we have for the day. This is his stats for 2021-22. I know it's a bit I hope you guys can read it now. So that's what we have, guys. This is exactly what we have. Um, the stat for 2021-22 is that Bundesliga, 28 games he's played and one goal. Obviously, he's a defender, so that really doesn't, have a lot to play with. Assists, 6 assists, and four yellow cards. Four yellow cards for a 28 game, season. Not bad, even if it is for Bundesliga. Um, Even if it is for Bundesliga. Champions League, 8 games. He had three yellow cards out of that. And yeah, I think there is a couple of other competitions as well, domestic competitions where he had played for one game, and out of which there was one yellow card as well. What I'd be more interested is looking at his injury records, which I was looking at previously, and I could see him not being injured at all in that season. It was just COVID once, and then he was on the bench for 4 or 5 times. So and he was not part of the squad. So he was not injured throughout the entire season last season. So I think we are if we manage to get this over the line, he is someone who we don't have to worry about the injury records and probably can play a 60-match season. Um, Yeah, I think the same as well. I mean, it really doesn't sound realistic, does it? Munich saying that, what, we'll get Delict and then we'll provide you Upamecano. So, just don't disturb this Delict deal with Juventus. Let this get signed off. Yeah, it's almost them saying that, what, we'll give you the small chocolate so that we'll take the bigger one, right? I don't want Chelsea to be treated that way in the transfer market, because historically over the last 15 years we've seen the kind of pull that Chelsea Football Club had in Marina, and Roman had in the transfer market. Not saying that whatever Marina did was right, but she definitely had a good pull in the market, and she knew how to negotiate deals. Maybe she did not negotiate the deals with the right players, yeah, and the players who came in was not the right fit in terms of the footballing perspective. But then she does know how to get the business done in terms of pure negotiations I'm talking about. So that's something that we're missing right now. um, but I would probably still wait and to comment on this until the end of the transfer window. We should at least give him 2 months, this window, before we comment on that about Todd Bowley's business acumen. They just don't want us to show our money to Juve because they know they can't match it. Yeah, exactly. If we say we're gonna offer, 70 or 75, and Bayern not ready to offer 75, then yeah, we could see there being a potential crash, and Juventus probably opting for the Chelsea deal. But if Bayern is able to deal Upamecano to us, then we'll not even go for the Delict deal. Or even if we go for the Delict deal, we would have invested some money for Upamecano. So we would be a bit restrictive in our approach for the Delict situation or the Delict deal, which will play to an advantage for Bayern to complete their Delict deal with Juventus. But the biggest problem here is that Delict is not preferring Chelsea. He wants Bayern over Chelsea. So that is there. He's a French international, plays in the center back position predominantly. So, yeah. And there you go. Daniel Crane just mentioned that Fabrizio has recently tweeted about Delict, and also in general about just Delict. Yeah, correct. So that's the one. Juventus are aware of negotiations between Matthias Delict agents and Bayern on personal terms, but Juve are still waiting to receive opening official bid from Bayern and Chelsea. This shows that Chelsea has not even put in an opening bid. Negotiations for Delict deal will continue next week. From what I understand from here, Delict is more closer to join Bayern than Chelsea, or at least Bayern is leading the race than Chelsea, because they've already approached the player in terms of personal terms, and then they're talking that over. And right now, Matthias Delict, though we had initially conversations around the personal term with Delict, now Delict wants to play for Bayern, and that's why he's open talks with Bayern. He's listening to Bayern's offer, and I really hope. I think it's going to wire down to who is probably going to be providing a better offer. This is a deal that's going to stretch until the end of the window, according to me, because Bayern and Chelsea, both of them, are going to go for an opening offer. From there, we'll hear Juventus getting back at one club saying that, you know what, the other club has paid so much, so would you be able to match that, or would you be able to pay more than that? And then they will go matching it, and then they're probably going to ask the other team. It's just going to be an auction, yeah, or a bidding war. That's what I would probably say. Daniel says the key word in the tweet: no one has bid, whereas reports a few days ago says bid has been made. Yeah, so much of inconsistency. That's what I was wondering. Like Chelsea, I thought Chelsea had already put in an opening bid, but from what this report says, both of them have not put in even an opening bid. That's a worrying thing, because what it says here is, if you look at it, receiving opening. Juventus is still waiting to receive opening official bid from Bayern and Chelsea. This is opening bid. Yeah, opening bid never gets you through the line. So you have to probably update your bid 4 or 5 times, or for a player like Delict, or at least twice, right? Because that's an opening offer that you're probably putting in, and usually opening offers are a low ball offer, and then you see where it goes from there. But the way that Chelsea has done, or what Fabrizio is reporting from here about Chelsea's business, there's been some inconsistency in terms of reporting, but Chelsea are nowhere close to signing Delict than, at least what we expected, because Bayern looks more closer to this particular deal. Daniel, thanks once again for letting us know about this particular tweet. It was just announced 1 minute before. I'm pretty sure. I think he's keeping a good watch on Fabrizio Romano right now. Daniel Crane, would love to have conversations with you on the stream itself. So if you feel you want to jump onto the stream, please let me know. I'll share the link with you. Daniel says, but even the man himself has said he doesn't understand how these Munich rumors are try when they cannot afford to pay that money. Yeah, that's the problem, right? See, these clubs, we think that we know their business. We think we know, if they can afford a player or not. But the clubs always find ways to circumvent these kind of transactions or these kinds of regulations, and they can make a deal happen if they really want that deal to happen. So I wouldn't read too much into the finances of a club from what we understand, because in terms of finances, though they are in a pretty bad shape, you could see how Barcelona right now is operating. It's not going to be just Barcelona. I'm pretty sure other clubs would also be doing the same, because the club in itself carries a name, and apart from that, there are a lot of investors onto the club if you have big names already in the club. So these clubs are looking at, like, Barcelona's strategy right now is to attract big names into the club, so that show those big names, so that Laporte is going to show those big names to the investors and tell them, you know what, we have these many big names, and there's a huge potential for market here. Just invest on us. Yeah. So that's how it's gonna be. Daniel says drop the link. I will see if my connection will let me as I'm out and about. No worries. Maybe since we are anyways coming to the end of the stream today, we will do that tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow again, the same time it's probably going to be. So let me know if you're up for that particular stream, and if you want to set up your connections as well before that would be great. So let's try that tomorrow. But yeah, thank you for letting me know that you'll be joining in. And yeah, I think we will be able to get a guest as well tomorrow. I'm working on getting a guest tomorrow. So if that is possible, then we'll have another guest on this on the show as well. So that's pretty much on the transfer roundabout for Chelsea today. Apparently, a lot of transfer news has happened today, but that was across that was across other teams. We did not do anything. We basically did not do anything today. Yeah. Um, I'm not sure, Daniel. My ID is at Sportswire that you can see here, or VJ Chelsea FC. That's the Twitter handle. So you can find me as Sportswire. Just send me a Twitter request, and yeah, we'll connect there as well. Yeah. So thank you so much, guys. I'm gonna end the stream right now. Today had to be a short stream because Chelsea had not done any business, but hoping we will be doing better business and some with positive notes. I'm gonna leave you for today until tomorrow. This is VJ signing off. You guys have a great day.